Surprise, YouTube. I just realized I could go live here. So I'm taking this opportunity to come live on this full moon. While this full moon is illuminating upon each and every one of us, showing us our shit, stirring us, shaking it out of us. Because we want to live a rich, full life. I don't think anybody out there would deny that or say they didn't want that. In our deepest desires resides the need to be loved, to love, to live in love. Love is at the root of why we do what we do. Love is all there is. Even those who act out of fear, act in anger, even at the root of that is love. Love is what motivates us. Even when technically we talk about you either come from a place of fear or a place of love, even the fear has love underneath it. Below the surface of your fear is the motivation of love. So where are you vibrating? Where are you vibrating? What energy level are you at in this moment? Can you feel into your beingness and recognize what it is that is churning up, what is being stirred, what is being shaken? Feel like a martini yet? There's a lot of pressure because you know it's not in our comfort zones that we grow. So we have to get really uncomfortable. In these times, you're being shaken out of your comfort because you've been complacent and complicit in a life that doesn't serve you. That even your unhealed childhood traumas, unresolved, are coming to the surface for your attention. Are you paying attention yet? See, within the tension lies the gift of the message that has been just waiting for you to knock on its door, to create the space around that tension, to give it your attention. Because where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. And sometimes, just like people, the discomfort in your body, it just wants to be acknowledged, to be seen, to be felt, to be recognized, to finally get an opportunity to resolve itself. Because tension in the body is an unresolved experience that never came to its full fruition. All trauma really truly is an experience in your past that was halted in the middle of it. It never got to finish its course. It was never fully expressed and experienced. You got shocked and didn't get the follow through. So when we're young and we're stuck in this shock, fight, flight, freeze or fawn, and we never actually resolve that, we continue to relive it, not realizing that's what we're doing because nobody gave us the tools. Nobody taught us this. Most people didn't even know how to deal with this. Whatever that was that you experienced that was so traumatic, the people around you and you didn't have the tools, the awareness, the ability to work through it, to deal with it. So it got halted in midstream and it got stuck and it ended up lodged in your body and you have been carrying it all this time. And all it really wanted was your attention. To be recognized, to be held, to be acknowledged as just energy that got stuck. An experience that was never dealt with. We see animals. Animals get up and they shake things off. You notice when a dog or a cat, they maybe fall down, and these cats especially, right? They fall off of a ledge and they're like, ugh, and they kind of saunter off like, I meant to do that. You didn't see that. But they shake it off because that's their way of resetting their nervous systems. Us humans don't do that. But we need something to reset our nervous systems. We need something to handle and readjust and strengthen those nervous systems, because what happens when we're traumatized is we get frayed. Our circuitry, our nervous system is our circuitry, just like on a computer board. And when our circuitry gets fried or short-circuited, how do we fix that? Well, we have to learn to strengthen our nervous system. We have to learn to breathe when our breath gets short. We have to find ways to harness the power of the now, to be present in the gift of the moment. Because in the present is where the gift is. But when we're caught up, stuck in the past mentally, or whether we're conscious or unconscious of it, we keep reliving it. When we anticipate with anxiety the future, something that hasn't even happened, the illusion, the fantasy, because fear is a fantasy, just like desire too. None of it exists in this moment like you do now. So just the fact that if we're not present, we're going back or we're going forward, in itself dismisses anything that's going on in your physical body. If you have a pain in your knee and it brings you to a memory, lean into that. Lean into your pain in your knee. Ask it, what is the gift you are holding on to for me to witness, to see? And is there a message for me? Listen intently. Have the foresight to recognize it's a gift. Be grateful that you feel, because in your pain lies your pleasure, and your pleasure, there will be pain. Pain is the gift of the willingness to go so deep in for your pleasure. And this is the cycle of life, that we will always have ups and downs. We'll go in and we'll go out, we'll go up, we'll go all around. This is life. This is a joyride. But pay attention to your vibration and your energy, because your vibe attracts your tribe. Your energy, your vibration is what attracts your experience in the moment. And the more unresolved experiences and traumas that we hold, the more we attract those to us. We attract people as catalysts, the true light workers that illuminate. Here's your trigger. And a lot of us have really been caught up in patterns of victimhood. How dare they? They hurt me. They did this to me. When you play the victim of someone else, you disempower yourself. Ask yourself, what is this person showing up to gift me? It's a gift without a bow. There's no doubting that. Nobody likes to be rubbed. But again, like I said, you do not grow inside of your comfort zone. So people will poke you, they will provoke you, and it's only because you're not willing to look within. And you can judge them, but do you know what judgment really truly is? Judgment is protection from rejection. Anytime you're judging someone else, you're judging yourself. Judgment is protection from rejection. And a judgment of another is a harm on yourself, because like the boomerang, it goes out, but it comes right back at you. And typically what we judge in another is what we dislike in ourselves. There is always going to be a mirror effect going on in life, people. What shows up to you is showing up where you're at. That's how energy works. It's duality. It's the magnet. The like attracts like. The victim will attract the attacker. It's a fact of life. They're magnetized. The happy, shiny, go lucky person that is confident and in their strength of knowing who they are will attract opportunities. And it'll look like they're walking through daisies, all like nothing touches them, because they are solid in themselves, and you really don't know where they're at, except for you can see that they glow, that they look like their life is magic, because everyone's life is truly magic. The question is how present you are to your magic. Because the words you choose, it's the spell you cast. Spelling words. So if you're telling a story about your victimhood and how things are always done to you, well, you're just drawing more of that to you. Because if you tell a story, you cast a spell and you recreate it and repeat it. So be very mindful and cognizant of the words you choose. Are you going to be the victor? Or are you going to be the victim? Now, most people get really offended when you point out they're playing into a victimhood story because they just want attention. And the reason you can tell they just want attention is because most people who tell the same story over and over again, they're not doing anything to change the situation. But they like the attention they get from telling the story. And you know how I know this? Because I was one of those people. I don't speak from anything but my personal experience. So if I share something with you, it's because I know it for me to be true. You can compare yourself and ask, does this apply to me? But don't take everything I say as an attack towards you or singling out, because the truth is what I'm talking about is my personal experience. And my personal experiences have been vast across this life that I have woven into my story. And I am the victor of my story. And the reason I say that is because I used to play the victim. Everybody used to do everything to me. Oh, I could find the negative in everything. I could always find something to complain about or point something out that was wrong. Because that was the vibration I was emanating. That's what I was living. But I also always still have had and maintained the air of positivity, because I have the bilancia, the Libra is my rising. So I've always been about trying to keep balance in life. And when I found that I was so caught up in my own shit and I didn't like it, that's when I would put down that gavel, I would slap down that hammer and say, no more, I'm done with this. So you got to get sick of your own shit in order to get yourself out of it, to really make and affect change in your life. Because it's the discomfort that stirs you up and shakes you up in order to shift you into the life you desire. Does that make sense to any of you? Because I know it does for me. So when I want change, I recognize what isn't working. That's what needs to change. But see, sometimes you can't see that in yourself. You need another to reflect it to you. There are two ways to work on your healing. Individually, by yourself, sitting and meditating, that takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of dedication. And you have to be extremely humble and willing to face your own shit. And not everybody can do it. It's not for the faint of heart. The other way, and this is the one that most people end up choosing, consciously or unconsciously, most of the times it's unconscious, is through another person. So what I believe is that the vibration and the energy that you're throwing out to the universe and saying, bring me this experience, is essentially saying, my inner child is saying, listen, she's not listening to me. Big Lana's not listening to little Lana. And if she's not listening to little Lana, she's going to attract some other catalyst, some other person that's going to poke and provoke Big Lana into going, hey, what the hell? What's your problem? No, actually, it's your problem. That's the deal. So when your inner child and your soul, because they're working in harmony here, the soul's always present for your experience. We're souls having a human experience. Your inner child will draw, attract, call in another person to mitigate, to be the catalyst, to poke and provoke you, and to pull it out of you, to bring it to the surface and serve it up, not so silver platter-like, but essentially gets your attention, doesn't it? You know, somebody calls you out, calls you a name, starts attacking you. That's because your inner child needed that. Because you weren't giving it to your inner child. Your inner child was screaming for your attention. You got physical pains, but instead a person showed up. Do you know those are the true light workers? You need to bless those people and be grateful. Here's why. Because if Somebody else doesn't shake you out of your shit, who else is going to? If you're not doing it, you need, and it's funny, we call it outsourcing in the contracting world, right? You need to outsource. So your inner child is essentially saying, you're not listening to me, I'm going to outsource this energetically. Draws in that person. That person comes in, knocks you off your rocker, and you're all upset and you're in your shit. And then you call somebody like me who says, so tell me, what is this showing you about yourself that you were so triggered by the situation that you're reacting to it? Or better yet, can you see where maybe that's not even about you? That other person is actually becoming confrontational with you because they're under pressure in their lives and they're not able to confront what's going on within them. So they've attacked you to distract themselves from their own shit. See, this works two ways. This isn't just a one-way street. When two people who are volatile come together and it's a victim and a persecutor, the victim will feel under attack because they don't even realize they've created that energy, like they're already defending themselves. And they'll want to defend themselves against the perpetrator, who's only looking for a distraction to not deal with their own shit. It's powerful stuff, people. This is magic and this is medicine. This is humanity in action. It's a collective collaboration. We call upon each other and we don't even realize that we're doing it because we're that unconscious to our own lives. Instead, we want to call it some trauma that someone else created, when in reality, we both created it. Somewhere out in the soul universe, we created a contract that we would come in and rub each other's wounds. Now, if we could be mature enough and say, hey, you're acting out toward me this way, and I'm acting out this way toward you, even getting a third party involved can sometimes be helpful if you're willing to listen instead of get into your reactive mode. Because when you become emotional, you become irrational. And when you're irrational, you cannot make good decisions. In fact, most of the times that's when you cause more problems. You create more of your drama and your trauma. But if we could, and two people could acknowledge one another and say, you know what, I'm seeing your pain and my pain's coming out as a result. Can we work through this together, like calmly, instead of like seeing the other as a problem? Because if one person's calling the other a liar and the other person's caught off guard because they're going through something else in their own life, so they're drawing in more problems, and maybe the other person is actually projecting where they've been. Maybe they were a liar in their lives, and that's the one thing they're judging the other person about that's actually about themselves. And they've been lying to themselves first and foremost, not the person they have pointed a finger at. See, here's the irony. Nobody can lie to you unless you've already been lying to yourself. And to point a finger out at someone else means you got three. It's a loaded gun, baby. You got to confront that shit. Don't be pointing it at someone else. Because then there's always those words we say that we cannot take back. And that's the most painful. When in reality, we're already in pain. So it's a self-sabotage, and it's creating the karmic loop, the karmic cycle that most of us are stuck in to begin with. But if you can recognize that there is that light worker, and it doesn't look like a gift with a bow. In fact, they're serving it up on a shit platter, and you're just freaking out, just going, what the heck what was that all about? Where is the lesson in it for you? That other person, you can't even go there because you have to acknowledge the only reason we get reactive is because what they're going through, we make it about us. It's called making things personal when they're not. So sometimes somebody comes at you, but if you know yourself strongly, you can calmly hold your ground and go, okay, all right, you're catching me off guard. I'm sorry. Can we take it down a notch? Let's calmly work this out. Let's talk this out. And let's find a common ground. Let's find what the real root of this is about. See, not everybody's there. Someone comes at you, it's like it's an animal under attack. And that other person, if they're the ones coming at you, could be the animal who's felt the pressure of whatever they're going through in their life to the point where they had to look outward and find something to get out of it. So they used you as part of the catalyst to getting them out of their own shit. But the problem is they're actually non-confrontational toward their own shit. And it's showing because they're flinging it at you. They're projecting it, and they're pointing you as the problem. They're playing the victim, but they're persecuting. So when you get two victims together, now you got like a real volatile shitstorm here. And this is playing out in the whole world. I mean, if you really want to say what the truth of the matter is, but the world stage is the collective collaboration. It is the expression of what each of us individually has been resisting and suppressing within. It is the collective on display to show each and every one of us where we're at. So when you see something out there and you're judging all that stuff and you're saying, oh, I don't like this about that person, and oh, this and that, da 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 da. Judgment, again, is protection from rejection. So you saying you don't like something out there is something in here. It's just being shown in your face. And the only reason you see it is, once again, they're the catalyst to showing you your shit. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't exist within you. So if you've watched me long enough, one of the things I try to remind you is own your shit, good and bad, positive, negative, your devil and your angel. Be both. Own it. Be whole. Because what you resist will persist. And when you don't do the shadow work and you think you're all light, your shit shows, honey. Mine does, I know that. Without the shadow, you wouldn't illuminate your light. Without your light, how could you cast a shadow? You are the yin and the yang, the true and the false, the one and the zero, the bit and the byte. You are it all. And you should want to be, because that's what makes you whole. You have to be able to think worst case scenarios to understand where another person is coming from. To even fathom the beauty that could be, and it's so much more than you can imagine, because everything, fear, desire, it's all a fantasy. We create from the imagination. You just need to learn to harness your imagination, to master your mind and not let your mind rule over you, because that's what's going on right now. Is this ego's gotten so inflated to the point where you don't realize it's meant to be your servant, not you be the slave. But if you notice, that's where humanity is right now. The most enslaved as we've ever been. The most codependent in a system that doesn't serve, that was meant to. And when things get so out of control, there's no saving, that's when it's time to really clean house, as that is the theme of this month. To sweep out all those cobwebs, to remove what is no longer working, and clear the path for the new, because it's time, baby, to create. We've done enough destroying. We've done enough complaining. We've done enough judging. Why not focus on what you desire instead of all the things you fear and all the things you don't want to deal with? You're going to have to handle it one way or another. The longer you deny it, the bigger the problem, the longer it lingers. Face it so it doesn't fester. That's the key. But you have to take the time, become devoted and dedicated to you first, and knowing who you are on all levels. Know thyself, first and foremost. That's where it's all at. This is what matters right here in the now, in the moment, the gift of the present. That's why they call it the present. Meditation is like prayer with listening for the answer. We can all pray for what we want, but how are we going to ever know the signs if we're not meditating and listening to hear what is coming, to get the guidance, to hear the signs, to navigate our lives, to feel into our body? We have 5 senses for a reason. To see, to smell, to taste, to hear, to touch. And without tapping into your 5 senses, if you are not tapped into your 5 senses, you're tapped out. And in order to tap into your intuition, the into me I see, that the most intimate relationship you ever have is with you, within you. That is your spidey sense. When you into me I see, you intuit outside. You know within and see what's out. When you go within, you don't go without. You won't be deceived from the out when you know what exists within. And that's all of it. Good, bad, ugly, all of it. You won't lie to yourself. You won't lie to others. Because when you're solid, you have no need to. There's no fear. There's just love. And it comes from the neutrality, not the pendulum swinging out of imbalance, you know, all the way over excited, crazy happy, all the way over the other way. Oh my God, I'm so much pain. You know, life is just crumbling. No, neutrality is being present in the now, in the moment, the calm in the storm, the observer, the witness to it all, knowing and glowing and going with the flow. So just remember something. When someone is attacking you or anybody, they're coming from that place of fear, first off. And then ask yourself, where am I vibrating at that I've drawn and attracted this towards myself? First off and foremost, you must have compassion and gratitude. Number one, because that person's showing some serious courage and vulnerability, even in their fear and even in their chaos, because something in them's being stirred. So you're watching them going through a transformation in themselves. You're watching them go through growth, and they don't even know it. Like the cocoon, the butterfly is in the goo, that's the goo. They're resisting it, and they're projecting it onto you. Even if they have some warrant to attack out, the behavior will speak mountains. Be compassionate. Hold your calm. That person needs that more than anything. To come back at them with the same energy, you know, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And when we attack back, we keep the karma alive. We need to have more compassion. And when you have that for yourself, it's going to be easier to extend an olive branch, a hand, a hug, your heart. But you have to see that other person, recognize the other person as you. At some point in your life, that has been you, and maybe you again. They're showing you their pain. That in itself is a gift, whether they realize it or not. And if it took an implosive, explosive experience or situation for them to get to that point, you're witnessing a transformation. So that is for them, but for you, what am I here to learn from this lesson? Because there are blessings in the lessons, and often it's a gift without a bow, and it comes in not always the best form in the delivery. But try to maintain a neutral stance. I know it's not always going to be easy, and sometimes it takes stopping and breathing. Woo! Oh, okay, we're going in. We got some fire under this situation. Hey, you know, things sometimes gotta burn, baby, burn, to be renewed. But you can still be that phoenix rising from the flames. You don't have to go down in them. Remember that. There are different ways to transform, transmute. There are different ways to hold one another too. Inner smiles, outer smiles, compassion, deep breaths. Maybe you can't handle the situation in the moment, but even afterward, you can still reflect upon it and have compassion and see where you could have done better. But don't beat yourself up about the situation either, because we are our own worst inner critics. And I think we need to be much kinder on our minds in most cases. Every once in a while, we need a swift kick in the butt. Don't get me wrong. Because again, there's pressure. There's always this pressure. I mean, this is a full moon, so there's a lot of shit coming to surface, people. And it's the reason it's happening so regularly, and you're seeing it out, it's playing out in the world stage, it's playing out in your life, all around you. It's because it's time to release it. It's time to let go and to stop holding on to the old. It's gone. It's long past. Why not deal with it and just get it over and done with? It's not a life or death situation. If anything, it's a let's live now instead of in the past. You've had plenty of time to confront it. You've had plenty of time to heal it. Now's the time. Stop putting it off. Do it for you. Do it for love. Release yourself from the shackles of your pain. It's an imaginary pain anymore because you've already been through it. Why not allow it to release and let that energy flow and move? Because when you, again, create the space, breathe into it, lean into it, glean the lesson, listen for the message, you're going to find it wasn't so bad after all. There's always something to learn in this life, and each one of us is serving as each other's teachers and students. There isn't anyone out there that's immune from this. We are each other's medicine, and we are magic. So let's start acting like it and stop being more the pain. Like somebody comes at you with pain, don't be giving them back more pain. Clearly, if they're already in pain, you don't want to push more pain on them. And I know if it's coming at you and it feels like pain, ask yourself if you want to invite that pain back. Maybe that's part of it too, is you have to recognize and discern that you're not a punching bag. Now, again, it's the way you handle it. With grace is always the best. To be in that space of ease and neutrality is the best way to handle anything, but not everybody can do that. Not everybody's grounded in their physical bodies. Often if you see someone who's coming at you, attacking, and they are enraged, in flames, they're ether. They're up in the air. They're not in their bodies. Because when you are angry in your emotions, you are not in your body. You're actually in your head. Everything is created up in here. You're detached. You're having an out-of-body of experience, and someone's got to take you down and tether you back in, whether it be you or someone else. Those are the times to halt. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Am I hot for temperature? Am I thirsty? Need something to drink? Take a pause, halt. Recognize what is coming up. If you can do that for another or yourself, that's going to make a huge difference in the relationship, how you relate to one another. Because the life that we live is a life about relationships. And the relationship, the into me I see, that you work on first is the most important, that will impact every relationship around you. Because you show who you are and how you act toward another. If you're impatient with another, you're showing your impatience with yourself. If you're angry with another, you're showing the anger spilling out of you. That's how much is being squeezed out. And I want you to consider that in the people that you see around you, that when you see someone so filled with rage, so filled with pain and anger, that it's spilling out, and maybe it's coming directed at you, that pain, that anger, that's in them. If you can just have some compassion for the fact that that person is that toxic toward themselves. They have that much pain inside. They have not healed or confronted. And they're so non-confrontational, they sought you out to distract them from themselves. See, that's what we do. Distractions or addictions. Looking for something outside of ourselves to keep us from looking within. That's why I say when you go within, you don't go without. And these are the people that are going without the love of themselves, seeking it outside, validation, vindication, because of their inner frustration. Their dislike of self causes dislike of the world around them. The more pain that a person is experiencing on the inside, they will try to create on the outside. And it's unconscious, and most people are very much unaware of it. That the reason they create it on the outside is this unconscious energy is saying, well, maybe if I fix it on the outside, it'll fix me on the inside. But that's a conscious thing you have to know for yourself, that I created, again, the catalyst. You attract that energy, the person into your life, to create the drama, trauma outside because you don't know how to fix it on the inside. You think unconsciously, because again, you don't even realize that's what you're doing. That the way you create another person to pull into your drama and your trauma is really an unconscious desire to heal the inside. That if I fix it on the outside, maybe it'll fix the inside for me. If I distract myself from dealing within it, going into it, that other person, I can blame them, call them the scapegoat for my problems. But the truth is, they're only showing up to illuminate the internal. They're the true light worker. You may think you're doing all this light work shit, but the truth is it takes another person sometimes, because you don't want to really see your own shadow or deal or handle your own problems. Have compassion for yourself and others in these cases. It's not going to be obvious right away for most people. We do it all the time, in subtle ways and not so subtle ways. Shedding that light, spreading that light, being the shit sometimes. But your inner child finds a way and says, hey, you're not listening to me. I'm going to call someone else in. I'm going to draw in some other catalyst, a light worker, to illuminate your shit. So you can think it's the other person. You can try to play that victim game. But the truth of the matter is they wouldn't show up if you didn't have work to work out. They're there to poke and provoke you and to shake up your shit, stir it all around, so that you can finally deal with it and get it out. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the awakening. If you hadn't been doing your shadow work, if you have not been actively working on you, you haven't had that dark night of the soul, I had all these freaking labels. Oh, I'm so over it. See, here's the thing I want you to remember too. A label is not a death sentence, but a lot of times people attract these things, like they want an answer, they want a label, they want a reason, they want to be able to put things in a box so they can forget about them, because that's what labels do. They make you lazy. Here, just tuck that off to the side. Oh, I got this issue, I got diabetes, oh, I got heart disease, I got this, I got that. Nobody ever deals with that shit when they're labeled. Now you got something to call yourself a victim of, and that's bullshit too. The only way you're ever going to heal anything is if you actually sit with, why did I end up manifesting this? Is this real? If you want to hold on to it for as long as you want. But eventually you'll get tired of your own shit and say, you know what? This isn't fun. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something new. You're going to seek out people to help you. Conscious or unconscious. Because you could end up drawing in that light worker that sheds his light on your shit. Maybe it's because you need to change your diet. Maybe it's because you need to move your body. Whatever it is, honor it. It's all good. This is a clown world. All the world's a stage. Choose your role and play it well. You want to be a devil? Be the best little devil you can be. You want to be an angel? Flap your wings. It's all here for you. You get to choose the whole thing. You want to have arguments with people? You want to poke and provoke people? Go for it. Do whatever you want. Do what you want to do. Do you, boo. But just know there's always a consequence, because your vibe attracts your tribe, and what you attract attracts where you're at. Your experience is based on your mindset and wherever you're at. So if you're non-confrontational, trust me, you're going to be confronted. And if you're the type of person who goes out confronting people, you're seen too. Yep. You do you, boo. That's what this lesson in life is all about. It's all about realizing that duality is a trap. And that when you're choosing this or that, you're falling for the trap. The thinking you got to pick sides, it's showing that you don't understand. You can accept both and be neutral to them too. Be the observer of your life. Be the witness. Don't let others take you off your guard. When you know thyself well, nobody can take you off your rocker. Stand strong in your knowing. Conviction. It's not aggressive, it's assertive. Choose your words wisely. Write your story the way you want it to be lived. And stop playing victim to the bullshit. Because the truth is you got the power. And when you give it away, you disempower. So choose yourself. Don't choose that another has more power over you, because the truth is it's all about you. Whatever you're experiencing is for you, not to you. It only happens to you when you decide to hand it over to another and you didn't actually take personal responsibility for it. We're being served up and shaken up and stirred all about. That's the hokey pokey. It's here to tell you all about who you really are. So that's my message for this full moon. I hope you are illuminated. I hope your vibes are high. Find your tribe. Reach out. Let me know. How did this resonate with you? And make sure to hit the notifications button and to see all my notifications so the little bell rings and you get a notification when I go live, or maybe I upload a video. I like doing these. And I hope this helps someone, because that's why I'm here. Hopefully to be the catalyst for you, that you don't have to learn the hard way. But I also understand I had to learn the hard way a lot in my life. 47 years old, I've had my experiences. I think I'm doing pretty damn well. So I hope this serves you and you have an amazing evening. Go out and howl at the moon. Do what you got to do. Get in the salt water, take a bath, take a shower, do a cleanse. Here we go. Singing bowls, sound healings. Deep breath in. And exhale it out. Make a wish. Make an intention better than a wish. You are magic, so your intention is magic. Cast your spell with the words you choose. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Let's do it together. Inhale. Exhale, relax, release. Set your intention for this full moon. What are you getting rid of? So you can draw in, create that space. Create a void where you will create from. We create from the void, and you are the creator, and you're the participant, and you are the script. You are all of it. Let your life be your art and live it from your heart. So much love, many blessings. Keep your vibes high. I love you very much. Night.